Criminology presentation. Theories of Criminology and Victimology. Joshua Mullins. As a crime analyst, I work with law enforcement analyzing crime reports and important, relatable crime data. I use this data to compose important information to solve open cases, reduce the risk of future crimes, and to spread education about crime prevention. One of my most important tools can be criminology theories. These theories can help criminologists and many other members of law enforcement understand and predict criminal behavior. This presentation will attempt to explain the trends of child abuse within our community and within our society in general. Child abuse can be seen as a devastating issue within the state of West Virginia. In one study, West Virginia ranked third among child abuse cases per 100,000 people under the age of 18. The West Virginia Child Advocacy Network stated that they had helped over 4,703 kids who were victims of child abuse in 2022 alone. This had been a 20% increase in children over the past 5 years. The devastating issue can also be seen in a criminal case of 2022, where a couple was convicted of child abuse that resulted in the death of a 1 and 2-year-old. As a crime analyst, there are multiple criminology theories that we may use to help determine why crime has been or is being committed. In this instance, we have a crime that is an issue within our community and a specific case that shows just how serious child abuse can be, which resulted in death. I believe the best criminology theory for this case and this issue would be social learning theory. Social learning theory can be thought of as an adaptation or a continuance of Dr. Edwin Sutherland's differential association theory. Both theories propose that crime is learned through interactions with close associates. Social learning theory was primarily developed and improved by Dr. Ronald Akers, who developed the theory not only around differential association theory, but also around the principles of behavioral science, with thanks to psychologist Dr. Bandura. Both differential association theory and social learning theory are centered on the exposure to an individual's definitions. One can interpret this theory in the idea that crime is learned just as anything else is learned. Social learning theory, while very similar to differential association theory, is different in the idea that social learning theory does not simply acknowledge that it is the exposure to an individual definitions that one learns crime, but social learning theory also attempts to understand how and why the process works. Social learning theory in its present form has 4 key points, which are differential reinforcement, imitation, definitions, and differential association. Differential reinforcement can be thought of as when an action is reinforced and not punished. Imitation is observing, copying, and applying behaviors seen in others. Definitions are an individual's attitudes and rationalizations, while differential association is the association with individuals. In this case, usually ones who act against norms or break laws. These 4 points help us understand exactly how social learning theory works and is applied. Social learning theory not only proposes that criminal behavior is learned, but also that law-abiding behavior is learned as well. The theory states that individuals will continue into criminal behavior if exposure to criminal behavior is greater than exposure to law-abiding behavior. Criminal behavior will continue if reinforcement of the delinquent behavior outweighs the punishment or consequences that an individual receives due to the behavior. While crime is learned, it can be unlearned if exposure to law-abiding behavior takes priority and outweighs law breaking behavior. In all, criminal behavior is learned through interactions, and once imitated, if the criminal action is not met with consequences, the criminal behavior will likely continue. I believe in many child abuse cases, social learning theory can explain the criminal act. One third of all individuals who are abused in childhood will likely become abusers themselves by a study funded by the National Institute of Justice. 30% of abused children will later abuse their own children. 68% of children who suffer abuse are abused by a family member or someone they know. We can see from the data and statistics that many child abusers were once abused themselves. This shows that the criminal behavior was observed, learned, and then imitated. Social learning theory can allow us to see a correlation between the abused learning this behavior to later becoming the abuser themselves. Child abuse is often unreported. For every one incident that is reported, it is estimated that two incidents go unreported. It is believed that 85% of children that are abused never report their abuse. There were almost 5,000 children who suffered from child abuse in West Virginia in 2023, and nearly 3 million child abuse cases reported nationwide. This shows the towering amount of child abuse overall when considering the estimated cases that go unreported as well. Social learning theory can explain that this criminal behavior is often never met with consequences, which could be seen as reinforcement of the criminal behavior. This can be explained by the differential reinforcement aspect of the social learning theory that we have seen earlier. This could lead to the individual as seeing this behavior as okay or even justifiable. Child abuse is a terrible problem that desperately needs to be addressed. Social learning theory can help to shine light on the causes and correlations of child abuse and how, in many cases, it is a learned behavior. While social learning theory can help explain many cases of child abuse, no one theory can account for all cases of criminal behavior. This is why there are many criminology theories that have been implemented and proposed to try and understand exactly how and why crime is committed. To truly understand the mind and motives behind criminal offenders, we must use every tool and explanation that great criminologists before us have materialized.